Okay, boys and girls. So, for reading, what you are going to do today is I'm going to make this file, and this is the first time I've done it, so I'm fingers crossed it works this way. If it doesn't work this way, I'll revamp it for Tuesday. We are going to be using this file all together. This is a Reading is Thinking sticky. So what I've done is I have created a page for everybody to write the title of their book and to write 4 stickies about what they have been reading, things that they were thinking about while they were reading. So maybe they made a prediction, or maybe they stopped and they checked their understanding because they realized they had gotten a lot of information and they had to make sure they understood it all. Maybe they thought of a character trait for their character and they wrote that trait down in their example. Okay, so we've been learning lots of different ways that readers think. Now it's going to be your time to show it to me, not just by talking about it like we do in class, but actually writing it down on the sticky. Okay, so to help you with that, what I did was I found a little sticky note superpowers thing that one of my teacher friends gave me. Okay, with some of the common things that you can do as a reader when you are reading, some of the thinking that you can do. So once again, put it in present mode so you can see it nice and big. Okay, so this is actually a bookmark that I'm going to make for you when we come back to school. But on one side, it has the skill, asking questions, making connections, predictions, inferencing, monitoring comprehension, evaluating what you're reading. Okay, those are all things that we do as readers as we read. And good readers do those things without even realizing they're doing it. All of a sudden, their brain will just, something will pop up and they'll be like, oh, yeah, that reminds me of this, or oh, I wonder what's going to happen, or I have a question, why is this happening? Okay, or ooh, yeah, I don't like how that ended. Okay, so we as readers bring our own thoughts and feelings to the story. Okay, so and on the yellow side are little prompts to get you to practice those. So when you're asking questions, you can start with a question word like can, who, when, where, how, why, do, does, how. Okay, so uh, those are some questions that you might ask a question about what you're reading. Okay, or I wonder is another great question that you might ask. Making connections means that you're connecting the book that you read to either other books, your own personal life, or something that you've seen out in the world in your travels. Okay, making predictions. You say, I think, or I wonder if this will happen. Okay, and remember, we're always going back into the book to find that evidence for what's happened so far that makes you think that. And then once we read on further, was our prediction correct? Making inferences means that you're using your schema. That's a fancy word for saying the information you've learned so far in your brain and what you've read in the text to make your own idea, grow your own idea from your reading. Okay, so you can say, I infer because. So we did some inferring when we were reading Molly's Pilgrim together, which we'll continue reading when we come back from vacation. Okay, we inferred from what we've read so far and what we know about kids and the way they treat other kiddos, that Molly is probably going to continue to be bullied. Okay, monitoring comprehension. Do I understand what I'm reading? Okay, so to help us do that, we say this part was about, or when we're reading fiction, we think, who is this part about and what just happened? Okay, and then we think about, is this something that I can tie to something I already know in the story, or is this new information that I need to start a new thought about? The last one we have is making evaluations. We do a lot of that when we examine informational text, but you also do that when an author's writing. You look at the author's craft. You think about why the author wrote the story, or why they put a certain part in the story, like we did with Fly Away Home, or thinking about the ending of a story, like we did with Each Kindness. Okay, and we think about what about the author's craft? Why did they do what they did? Why did they make those choices? Why did they title the book the way they did? Okay, lastly, don't forget about character traits and story elements that we work so hard on. You can do a sticky about those. Okay, maybe they're describing the setting really clearly, and you think it's going to be important to you understand the rest of the story, so you want to jot a note down about that. Okay, all right, so I hope that helps you understand a little bit about the kinds of thinking you can do. The way you're going to do your thinking is you're going to find your slide. So obviously, if you're not Liam, you're not writing on this one. So you're going to go through and find yours. Okay? So I'm going to hit escape because I'm all the way at the bottom with Mr. Owen. You're then going to write the name's already been written. So you're going to click here and you're going to write the title of the book you're reading. And then when you get a thought, you're just going to write that down, okay? So you might say, I think in Molly's Pilgrim that Molly is going to be bullied by the other kids, but at the end of the story, it's going to be happy because most stories end happily. Doesn't always happen that way, remember each kindness, but most of them do. So I'm going to make that prediction that because of what I know about stories and other stories, that Molly's Pilgrim will end happily. Okay, so I would then just type that down. Okay, so remember, you people who are not fast typers, what you can do is go down to the right hand corner of your screen. You have a little microphone. I don't because I'm a fast typer. You could click on that and that will enable your speech to type, and you can just say it and it will type it on your sticky. Okay? So I'm hoping to get on the computer before you start reading to go over these, make sure, but I am definitely going to be on at Zoom time at the end of your reading time so that we can everyone can get a chance to share one of their stickies, okay?